Let's welcome again today, Marshall Flam.
Thank you. It's based on the internet game. And for those of you that weren't here yesterday, all I did was take the word of the day that comes up on the internet game of Wordle, it's a 5-letter word, and incorporate in some manner that word into the limerick that I'm going to write. I went over this yesterday. The rules of my limericks are a little different. I'll often add a 6th line. They don't have to be bawdry, as 99.9% of the limericks are that are published. I hope that some that are a little off color doesn't offend the pastor. I have a feeling, though, it won't. So all I'm going to do today, since I had an extensive talk yesterday, is recite for you some of the limericks. Do I have to hold this? Yeah, I guess. Just trying to figure out how to do this. Okay, here we go. So the word on October 20th, 2021 was steed, S-T-E-E-D, which is referring to a horse. Sir Gawain rode a trusty steed, which ran with incredible speed. But when Gawain's armor rusted, the gallant horse was busted. For on his master's armor, it had peed. Then, the day before that, October 21st, 2021, the word that came up surprisingly was enema. These are all 5-letter words that get posted that you have to guess. So what did I do with enema? I know you're breathlessly waiting for that. A sensual woman named Emma enjoyed a frequent enema. She was never constipated, but they made her feel elated. Now, isn't that quite a dilemma? All right, so let's see these. Number 131. Erode. This one's more serious, and this has a footnote, as some of my limericks do, because I don't intend to just make you laugh, but I want to educate you as well while you're laughing. At its end, the universe may loudly explode. Alternatively, it could quietly implode. But until it comes to an end, entropy remains its friend, causing it to slowly erode. Now, I know that's a little esoteric, but it's an interesting limerick in that when you look it up in the footnote, it'll tell you all about entropy and different versions of how the universe is supposed to end. The word the next day was world, October 29, 2021. Our world is 6,000 years old. At least that is what we've been told. But the biblical apostles knew nothing of fossils, something they never did behold. So there's the controversy between religion and science and when the world started. Number 136. I have 2 for this. The word that day was great. And I think many of the men in this room could relate to that, but only the married ones. For the record, I will state that my woman is really great, for she's able to control me when I'm an asshole, and my ego to fully deflate. I also have a more serious one. In the 20th century, a few men were great. Of these, I can certainly state Churchill, Reagan, Einstein, and Freud, names we never should avoid. Their importance impossible to overstate. Let's see now, we're going to jump to 174. And I'm going to have a question for the audience when I'm done. Viral. is the word that day, and that was during the pandemic. COVID-19 is an illness that is viral. Its introduction created a vicious spiral. Now everyone is grouchy after taking advice from Fauci, when all we needed was an antiretroviral. The video went viral on Twitter when her dog jumped up and bit her. She proceeded to beat the mud. He bit her again on the butt. Now the dog is Twitter's most popular critter. Okay, here's a good example of the different variations of limericks, and you can do this to include or to not involve the bawdry. So these are 3 limericks. 2 are educational, and the last one is bawdry. I'm warning, there's a dirty word in it. So those of you who need earplugs, you can get them in the back. The word was mount, January 27, 2022, M-O-U-N-T. In 79 AD, Mount Vesuvius did erupt. The death of 16,000 was abrupt. Many died from asphyxiation. For others, it was cremation. Pompeii, it did completely disrupt. Second, Mount. Edmund Hillary, first to surmount Mount Everest. To accomplish this, he had to be well versed. And by the way, it was with his Sherpa Norgay. Later, the summit many have traversed. In fact, the biggest problem they have now is dealing with all the human waste on Mount Everest. And now here comes the dirty one for those who hold your ears if you're going to be offended. The circumstances I will try to recount. When on top of her, I did mount, using the word again. She was completely receptive because I wore a contraceptive. So we screwed too many times to count. Other. This one takes a little thought and a couple of footnotes. I'm not trying to make you laugh, but you're just like my other half. How can I begin? You are just like my twin. Perhaps you're my holograph. Or are you my homograph? Here's a religious one, followed by a funny one. The word was thorn. It clearly was a symbol of scorn that Jesus was mocked to have worn. He was king of the Jews, who of blasphemy was accused, forced to wear a crown of thorns. Something less serious. It is a real thorn in my side, from which I'm unable to hide. It grabbed me by the genitals. With its tentacles, I pray it goes out with the tide. All right, there's so many. Let me pick a good one. All right, let me.
We got time for one more.
Oh, just one?
One more.
All right, okay. So tough to pick. Okay, 277.
He's laughing already.
All right. The word was purge. And I have one that you can imagine, but I also have a good one about purging. Today I went to confession to purge myself of aggression. But the priest simply said, see a psychiatrist instead. You just have a weird obsession. Anyway, the book has 603 limericks, many with footnotes, and based on the Wordle word of the day, the first 400 words. So, thank you.